How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Schmoedown Central. I'm your host, Brad Thomas, breaking down the week that was in the movie trivia Schmoedown. Two big Innergeekdom matches. Winners of these matches go on to play in the tournament finals. Let's get into those matches and break them all down. So on Tuesday, we had Rachel the Crusher Cushing taking on Knopic. Mara coming in with the 2-0 record with 2 knockouts. Meanwhile, Rachel, she comes in with the 3-2 record with 2 knockouts. And this was an interesting match as both competitors feeling a little under the weather, not feeling their best, but kudos to both competitors for battling through the pain. Round number 1, both Rachel and Mara were close early on, each competitor going toe-to-toe. Mara, of course, the first to miss on question 4, where Rachel was able to take a couple point lead following this, but her streak did come to an end on question number 6, as she went on to get 8 out of 10 questions correct in round number 1. Meanwhile, Mara, she goes 5 for 10 in the first round. In round number 2, Rachel was first to go, and she spins the category of heroes and villains. This category can go either way, either you know some of it or you don't. It's a mixed bag of types of questions, and Rachel does okay for herself. She goes 3 for 5, gets a possible 6 out of 10 points. Not exactly the score we're used to seeing Rachel put up in the second round, and also giving up a 1-point steal on question number 6, giving Rachel the 14-6 lead midway through 2 rounds. Mara was up next, and she spins the category of Marvel movies, and again, not doing too bad for herself. She goes 4 for 5, gets a possible 6 out of 10 points, having to use multiple choice quite a bit, but managing to cut that gap to just 2 points as Rachel now leads 14-12. Mara up first in round number 3, and she gets the category of DCEU, and she managed to get that first question correct. Rachel up next with weapons, tech, vehicles, and magical objects, the dreaded category, but she does well for herself getting that one correct. Mara up next. She gets Lord of the Rings for her 3-point question and can't get that correct answer, making her have to hit her 5-pointer, which came in the category of the MCU, and she finds that correct answer to give her the 19-16 lead temporarily. Rachel's up to try to win it. For her 3-pointer, she gets the category of The Hobbit and finds that correct answer. And question 3, now all tied up, she gets the category of Who Said It and uses her 2 remaining repeats and cannot get the correct answer as it heads to overtime by a score of 19-19. And this was one of the best overtimes we've ever seen, each competitor going toe-to-toe, getting the same incorrect answers as they're getting the same right answers. Both competitors were probably not playing at their best in the overtime frame, but it was still close nonetheless, and Rachel nearly had the win on the Big Hero 6 question by saying San Fran Tokyo as opposed to San Francisco. A small error, but she could have put it home right there. But this overtime frame went to the 11th round, where Mara was able to edge out the victory, getting that question correct. Meanwhile, Rachel could not, as she wins it, moving on to the finals by a score of 24-23. With the victory, Mara now improves her record to 3-0 with 2 knockouts, while Rachel, she falls now to 3-3 with 2 knockouts. Mara going 16 for 29 for questions he was asked for 55%. Meanwhile, Rachel, she goes 17 for 29 for 59%. A very close match in the percentages. Just a couple point differentials plus the steal by Mara were the difference maker, and of course, getting that overtime victory. So what an effort put on by both competitors, both Rachel and Mara, both bringing it in the face of adversity and the face of just the illnesses and the injuries and all that good stuff. I mean, they're both champions for just getting through that match and just putting on what a great show for us. 11 rounds in overtime. Very impressive nonetheless. And now Mara going on to take on, of course, the winner of the upcoming match, and it's unfortunate for Rachel, but I mean, she'll bounce back. She's one of the best. I mean, it sucks to go out like that. Maybe if she didn't have this illness, she could have maybe beaten Mara, but it wasn't the case. It wasn't meant to be, but I'm sure she will be back in the ring very soon once this tournament concludes and get her name back to the top of that Innergeekdom totem pole. But let's get into the next match, find out who Mara was going up against next. So on Friday, we had Mike Kalinowski taking on Adam Hlavac. Adam coming in with the 2-1 record with 1 knockout. Meanwhile, Mike Kalinowski coming in with the 2-2 record with 2 knockouts. Round number 1 was a very impressive start by Mike and a not so impressive start by Adam. Adam not able to put up really any points on the board for quite some time, and Mike ends up starting at 6-0. Following that, Adam was able to rebound and get a few points on the board, ending the round going 3 for 10, but Mike goes 10 for 10 in that first round, earning the bonus point question, and on that bonus question was able to capitalize, going 11 for 11 and giving the 11-3 lead after 1 round. Round number 2, Adam was up with the category of the DCEU, and this proves to be a big strength of his as he goes 5 for 5 in this round, catching up by quite a bit here and getting 8 out of a possible 10 points, tying the game up at 11 midway through 2 rounds. something Adam was in desperate need of doing. Mike, looking to widen the gap now a little bit, he spins the category Spinner's Choice and decides to go with the category of the MCU and does solid for himself here, going 4 for 5 and getting a possible 7 out of 10 points, putting Mike back in the lead at the end of 2 rounds by a score of 18 to 11. Definitely though a closer game here than it was after 1 round. And in round 3, Adam, again a lot of ground to make up with the first question that he got in the category of Marvel movies, finds that correct answer. Question 2 gets the category of scores and soundtracks and gets that correct answer as well. Question 3, his 5-pointer, gets the category of DCEU, the same category got in round 2 and did very well in that category and manages to get that correct answer, forcing it back to Mike by a score of 21 to 18. This is Mike's first time heading into the 3rd round, and with question 1 he had the category of Star Wars and gets that correct answer, meaning he just needed to get one of his last 2 questions correct, and his first question came in the category of MCU and he gets that one correct to win it by a score of 23 to 21, an impressive showing by both competitors and what a almost comeback by Adam Hlavac. With the victory, Mike improves to 3-2 with 2 knockouts. Meanwhile, Adam, now he falls to 2-2 with 1 knockout. Mike, a very stellar game here, missing 1 question, going 17 for 18 for 94% for questions he was asked. Meanwhile, Adam rebounding big after round 1, going 11 for 18 for 61%. A big comeback game by Adam, just falls a little short there, but Kalinowski proving that he's one of the best now in the Innergeekdom division and will face, of course, amazing Knopic in the finals next week, which will be very exciting to see that go down. A 5-round final, couldn't ask for anything else, and Adam, again, a very impressive comeback. Had he maybe turned it around in round number 1, could have maybe changed the outcome of the game. Fortunately, wasn't the case in this match, and again, hopefully see Adam back in this anytime soon. He'd be welcome back, and I am a big fan now of Adam, and again, that comeback, almost comeback victory for him was very impressive, but not to take anything away from Mike Kalinowski's very dominant performance here as well, only missing 1 question that he was asked, so that was great as well. But let's get into next week and preview what's going on. So on Tuesday, we'll have the number 1 contender match between the Beast, William Bibiani, taking on Ethan Irwin. Winner, of course, going on to take on Mark and Draco, but this one should be a heated match. Potential Rookie of the Year candidate, Ethan Irwin, is a force to be reckoned with, but the Beast has been hot as of late. Ever since he started standing up at that free-for-all, he's been impressive. We'll see what happens here, but it's sure to be one of the best matches we've had this year. And then on Friday, we have the Innergeekdom Finals, of course. The winners of the matches this week, Mike Kalinowski taking on Mark Knopic, and as I've already said, this should be a stellar match as well. Kalinowski has been on a roll as of late, missing barely any questions in all 3 of his matches in this tournament, but Mark Knopic, the rookie, the newcomer, looking to take some steam away from Mike Kalinowski. We'll see what happens here, and of course the winner will play the one and only Jason Justice Inman at the live event on September 8th. But as for our play of the week, that's got to be Mike Kalinowski's first round, an impressive 11 for 11 in that first round, and going up 6-0 in the match to start. There were some difficult questions there, and Mike Kalinowski knew them all, and without that impressive first round, we may have been looking at a different result based on what Adam did in the last 2 rounds. As for our misplay of the week, that's going to unfortunately go to Rachel Cushing. In the overtime frame, missing that Big Hero 6 question. There's a slight mix-up on the San Fran Tokyo and San Fran Sokyo, which was the correct answer. Unfortunate slip up there, and really was the defining moment in potentially getting her a win or a loss. As for our player of the week, that's got to be Mike Kalinowski, only missing 1 question, but I'm going to actually make that both Rachel Cushing and Mark Knopic fighting through injury, playing for an impressive game, going 11 rounds in overtime. Sure, they may have missed some of the questions that they probably would have got maybe if they were at full 100% status, but still a stellar game. Nonetheless, both Rachel and Mara put on a show for us, and that's why they're our players of the week. So that's it for this episode of Schmoedown Central. Again, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos each week. Let me know also your thoughts on this week's episode, what you think of the play, misplay, player of the week, what you're thinking of next week's matches, what your predictions are, who's going to win the number 1 contender match, who's going to win the Innergeekdom tournament. It'll be all exciting stuff, and of course, be sure to follow me on Twitter at 94BradThomas or at Schmoedown to keep updated with the world of Schmoedown Central and everything going on in my world as well. And without further ado, again, just subscribe, like, do all that good stuff, share this around, and I'll talk to you all next week on Schmoedown Central.